Good morning. It is the last day of October, Friday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. Currently looking at WAI. This one closed nicely in after hours. You can see it squeezed up right here at 405. Kind of zigzagged, but ended up holding up around that high. Closed at 437. It's a 433,000 share float. The 200 on the dailies at $87. So plenty of room to move upward. There are a few daily levels that have marked out. That's what all the horizontal yellow lines are. Just those pivots all the way up until we get to this gap. I would look for this one to open around 430 and then squeeze higher through 437. If we can do that, the next daily target would be 570, and then we got room up to 9. That's mainly what I'm looking at. I'm also looking at DLHC, break of 9 and then a push through 980. And then I have BRLS for lack of anything better. I don't expect it to do much, but WAI is the main one I'm watching. So, see what it can do. $0.50 spread, 430 by 480, 430 by 450. That little micro dip at 460 and a push higher would have been a good entry, but I did not take that. Huge seller, 40,000 shares around 5. It looked like they were walking it down a little bit. MSAI hitting the scanner. I'm watching the 5-second chart to see if we could get first candle to make a new high. Take that. Minute 5:48. It's really high. I was trying to get in more around 5:30. Only took 150 shares. There are some larger sellers on the level 2. I keep seeing like a 30,000 share seller pop up. 550. Push through 550. Hit a high of 590, pulling back a little bit. I'm in at 548. 630. I went ahead and sold the whole position right there. I don't like... The price action on this is just tricky. It's very whippy. I keep seeing large sellers pop up on the level 2. See, there's another 20,000 share seller at 6. To me, it seems like somebody has a ton of shares and they're just trying to sell at all the whole dollars, because there's a 30,000 share seller, 40,000 share around 5. And we obviously blew through that, or they pulled their order, and now there's another one around 6. So that just has me a little hesitant. DLHC didn't do anything. Let's see if this can give us a 1-minute pullback. You are getting kind of a flat top on the 5-second around 620. I have this 1-minute candle is 623. See, you still have that huge seller at 6. ALPS and bin F pushing higher. ALPS doesn't have any volume though. Bin F is squeezing, but it's under $1. I have this as 580. VWAP is 573. Pulling back a little bit. Let's see what else we got. MSAI. I don't know anything about this stock. 30 million share float. It's a bit on the higher side. We are above the 200 on the daily. I wasn't watching this one, so I don't have any daily levels marked out. I think I'm going to hold on this one just because the float is 30 million shares. I'd rather see something lower. CWAI pulling back. I would say over 50% of the move. Love to see that. BNF, you could see it squeezed right here, but it's penny stock. I don't want to trade that. I just don't have good luck on penny stocks. MNOV. Float is too high. Don't really see anything else. MSAI could put in a good move. It's just I don't want to take that trade because of the float, but other than the float, I think this one's perfectly fine to trade. Just not something I'm looking for today. Not on a Friday. Fridays are usually the hardest day of the week for me, so I want to be super selective. A lot more caution on Friday. Monday and Tuesdays are usually like pretty easy. Take a technical trade and it works. Fridays are very much hit and miss, and they're more on the miss side. So I always have to remind myself going into Friday that we got to take it a little slower, be super cautious, and basically just take your profit when you can get it. So that first trade I took, fortunately only got about 50 cents of profit, which is still good, but it's probably, yeah, see I made $82. It wasn't the best execution. I was trying to get in at 530. I filled higher. I think I got in probably right here. 401.43. So right in here, it did a slight pullback and then it went higher, and that's when I took my profit. I'm glad I did because it ended up pulling back, but it would have been nice to get a lower entry. But that's all right. I can't complain. DLHC hitting the scanner. There's kind of a descending line here. I was just about to say if we could break through that, I would take a trade, but I was watching this one. If it could hold around that 870 level, and then this next 1 minute, if it would have pushed through 9, I would have got in, but kind of did a false breakout above that line, and now it's rejecting. WAI is almost done a round trip at this point. Nice move up, and now rolling over. SAI hit $2 and rejected off that level. Alright. Still have 850 in buying power. But if there's nothing to buy, going back to WAI real quick. Looking at the 5-second chart here in the bottom right. So when this thing opened, there was a 50-cent spread. I think it was 430 by 480. The game plan was to see if it could open around 430 and then push through 437. Which, so technically it did open. It opened at 428, but it had that 50-cent spread. So had I got in, to get in, I buy on the ask to ensure that I can get in. So even though it opened at 430, because there's a 50-cent spread on the level 2, I would have been getting in way up here at 480. And then, so say I got in 200 shares. To get out, I would have to hit the bid, and I'm down 50 cents on 200 shares. So, I mean, it's like $100 risk just to get in it. So that's why I didn't jump in right away. I then watched the spreads to see if they could tighten. That is something I've been trying to, it's something I noticed like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I forget what stock it was, but it made a tremendous move. I think it was from like $20 to $30. I didn't get in initially because the spread was so wide. And just when I happened to look away and then look back, it narrowed down to like 10 cents and then it took off. And that's what I was looking for on WA. I was looking for that spread to get really tight. And then if it was around a good level, I was going to try to jump in. Unfortunately, it started moving before the spread tightened. So that's why I didn't get in on this initial push. If you were aggressive, you could have just, I guess, got in for like a whole dollar, $half break. But still, because the spreads are so wide, I felt like you were just taking an unnecessary risk on a move that was unconfirmed. And this was basically all on the level 2. I don't think my 5-second chart had populated yet. I was then watching this pullback. I thought about getting in here, but I didn't. I don't recall why. And then it did another pullback. And then I was trying to get in above the 530 level, which I think was this high. Yeah, the high of this candle. And when I punched it, I think it just missed, or my level 2 timing was off, and I got in at 548. But that's kind of what happened on WAI at 4 a.m. TFSC. We can get like a 1-minute pullback on this. This candle's 612. Which one's right here? Hit my hotkey, but it's not liking the calculation. Right. I gotta change my hotkey. That thing is taking off, which is fun. Okay. So this one, see the 5-minute is extended. The 1 minute, it would be nice to get 2 or 3 red candles and then push higher. I mean, right now you have 5 green candles in a row. We're at 750. So looking here on the daily. Kind of inside this green candle right here. So So the next pivot is at 8. And I would say the next significant pivot is probably 10.20. This thing has room. I just need a good entry. See there, it took off. Again, it's Friday. I don't want to be too aggressive. I'd rather have really nice setups. So that's why I didn't jump in that one. It would have worked, but I wish my hotkey would have worked when I first tried pushing it. I think I was trying to get in at like 6:30. I have the hotkeys I've been using are 90% and 45% my buying power. 90%, like if I have a really nice setup I like, I'll punch that one. If I'm kind of so on it, like the WAI, I do shift 45%, or sorry, 45% of my buying power, which is shift E. The thought behind that is I can get 2 trades that way if the first one doesn't work. That's what I did in WAI. But Webull, I don't know exactly what the calculation is, but there's like a threshold you have to be outside of. So like if I did 100% of my buying power, it won't execute. I don't know how it calculates, but I've noticed needs to be off by about 6%. I think I've had really good luck with 94% buying power, but I just did 90 to be safe. Watching for the break of 850. I'd like to see one more pullback on the 5-second and then push higher. So jumped in right there at 819. Pushed up to 889. See if we can push through that high. In at 819. No, I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Of course, when I take it, it pops back up to 860. So the reason I sold right there, I wanted since I got in at 819 and then it popped up, my stop was now my entry, and I was really looking at the 5-second chart. You see we kind of double topped there at 895. I was hoping we could have just slight pullback and then push higher. But when I looked up at the level 2, it had dropped to 8 by 828. So on the bid was already 20 cents below my entry. So I just hit the ask to see if I could get out. I did. So that's why I sold right there. You can see it was in this candle right here, this green one with the large bottoming tail. Like right when I sold, it popped back up to 860 and then went to 895. But that's okay. It's better than taking a loss. I made 8 cents, 91 shares, so I don't know, it's like $7 or something. But I think that's going to do it for me. I only have $105 of buying power left. I guess for Friday at 4 a.m., decent day. I probably have around $90 profit. You can see the P&L. It hasn't caught up yet. It's saying I lost $854, which isn't right. So this will probably turn out to be 90. So ending October on a green note. I'm just looking at the October P&L calendar. I had some smaller losses to start off the month, which are perfectly fine. I'm trying to keep my daily loss to no more than $100 right now. So this $32 loss, $68 loss, $10 loss, perfectly fine. Even $106, you know, there's going to be some slippage. I'm not always going to be able to get out right at 100, so I was okay with that. This 176 loss, that's a bit high. Not real happy with that. But you can see we have some decent green days. Friday the 17th, that was a really nice green day. And then the 21st, it does say minus 675. That's not right. I held SBEV overnight. It was just something I wanted to try, and it ended up not working. I think I took like $120, $140 loss on it the next morning. But because I held it, it did something to the P&L. I haven't been able to figure out why. But this number's larger than it should be, and then this profit on the next day is larger than it should be. So it balances out. It just, these numbers aren't right. Prior to holding that overnight, I think I was down like $300. And then on the 22nd, I think I really only made like $80. I took that loss on SBEV, and then I had another trade that made it up and got me $80 profit on the day. But the way the calendar shows, it's, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been able to figure it out, but that looks really bad. It's not as bad as it seems, but it's still an inflated loss. Like, even if that were accurate, it probably says 300 to 400, which isn't good. And then this week hasn't been too bad. Took $120 loss on Wednesday, a little higher than it should have been. Should have cut it earlier. But, well, I was going to do a look at October, but it's not going to be right because I lost $800 today. You see, it was the right move to get out where we did. DFSC is pulled back. We were in high. Like I said, there's way too many green candles here. This feels really extended. But we got a nice little ABCD set up on the 5 second, which is what I took, and I was trying to get in right here. And this first candle to make a new high, and then a breakthrough 844, then a breakthrough 850, which we did get. Unfortunately, it didn't sustain those levels and pulled back. Well, I don't know how much I made in October. Number could, oh yeah, there we go. It updated. But I think it's still missing that last trade. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's only like $7. I just wanted to make sure I was out. Don't have any working orders. Cancel. Well, regardless, it might be off by $7. So ending October, $620 profit. Not terrible. Not as good as September, but green is good. So I will focus on November. Going to see what we can get in November. But yeah, 623 is October's number. Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna end it there. I gotta get ready for work, but I'll see everyone back at it Monday morning. Good luck.